start with arguably the release of the most popular arcade game of all time, Miss Pac Man.
Yep. Miss Pac Man is a gem. It's a wonderful game, whether you play it in its original form or in the sped up speed chip edition. It's one of those games that's just got almost infinite replayability and this really wonderful difficulty curve that starts at really accessible and just moves up to, are you freaking kidding me? It's one of the things I really love about it.
It improved on the original game in virtually every way.
Absolutely. It's,
yeah. I mean, engineering, just from an engineering standpoint, a design standpoint, so there's Pursuit AI, you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. It doesn't follow, the ghosts don't follow the same kind of patterns. They're not as easy to just scrub and like leave in the dust as they are in Pac Man.
Exactly. You got multiple mazes, you got moving fruit. And the thing about Miss Pac Man that's interesting, this is an American invention. Miss Pac Man was a game created by a bunch of MIT kids who originally kind of hacked the Pac Man board.
Yeah, so the story is interesting. Namco developed Pac Man, Midway released Pac Man in the US. Right. So they wanted to get a sequel going. And these MIT kids created a Pac Man hack called Crazy Auto, right?
And at first they wanted to sue them into oblivion, Midway did, and then they looked like, I don't know, actually, this could sell. And so it was a lot of fun, and it eventually became kind of the staple de facto Pac Man game that most people think of, I think, is the best Pac Man game. There have been other good ones.
Absolutely, I think it's the best Pac Man game. One of the other things I think is unique about it, and you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong, is this the first great video game sequel? Like, is this the first really excellent video game sequel? Like, can you think of another sequel at this point that was that far forward from what the original was?
I'm having a hard time thinking.
Yeah, I couldn't think of one.
Yeah, she's definitely the prettiest video game sequel character.
Without a doubt.
What a looker.
That bow, man. Got 4-year-old me going.
But she had personality. She had these little cut scenes, her and Pac Man, and coming along, the baby coming along there, and everything. That's neat. She was a character. And this is a great year to be in an arcade anyway. I mean, Miss Pac Man. We say the greatest game of the year. Well, maybe I'm going to argue against that in a minute as the greatest arcade game of all time. But it is one of the best. But what a year to be in arcades! So many different things going on.
Lots of stuff happening that year.
But today, if there is an arcade game around that you encounter, I'd say there's a 90% chance it's going to be a Miss Pac Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We took my son to the bowling alley for his birthday party a couple months ago, and they have the kind of old machines that are still in the back room, and Miss Pac Man was one of them. And all the kids, after they were done bowling, Miss Pac Man was what they wanted to play. Actually,
was it the cocktail table?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, unfortunately. No, it wasn't.
That is the crown jewel of Pac Man.
Yeah, the definitive way to play it is a cocktail table with a dedicated 4-directional joystick and the speed-up chip built in, which is what I said.
And a cheap drink.
The IGN company score record.
I want to you don't hold the high score here.
219,680, which is it's okay. It's not great.
But you have another Miss Pac Man memory that has to do with travel, is that right?
Yeah, Miss Pac Man. There was a Miss Pac Man that sat in a pizza parlor in the town I grew up in, and from fairly early in my life to the present day, if I drive through that town, I go back there every now and then, I have to stop and play that same machine. It's still there, it still works. It is that cocktail with the 4-directional and the speed-up chip. And as of, I think, 3 years ago, I was still able to drop in and play that same machine.
Wow.
I hope you will always be able to, because that's one of those things where if you show up and it's not there, something fundamental about the way you view the world is going to
crumble.
Does it get serviced occasionally?
It must. This is at, if you want to check it out, kids, it's at Subby's in Hickory, North Carolina.
All right.
But now, Jared,